Hey, this is Joseph here. I'm here to show you how to build my computer for my graduation project.
We'll show you all the components we need to build the computer. First off is all the hardware and the screwdriver with different bits you might need for to build the computer. These are all the screws and stuff we'll be using for the computer. Building it anyway. This is the power supply, 600 watt TR2 from Thermaltake. Power cord to it. This is the processor. It's a AMD A series. It runs at 3.9 gigahertz. This processor. There's the heatsink for it. This is the hard drive we'll be using. It's a solid state hard drive, 120 gigs. Let's put it down. And I attach it to this flat plate of an old hard drive, so I can attach it to this other hard drive, which is a 5-inch bay. It's an old hard drive I took apart, and this is only 2.5 inches, so that's why I modified this other hard drive. The screw gun, we'll only be using it for a few things, like attaching these two pieces and screwing it to the case. This is the motherboard. It's a F2 A8-6600k FM2 socket. Just lift the lever from when we place it in the socket. Here's the RAM slots, the PCI Express, that's the CPU socket, FM2 I said. And here's the RAM. It's Corsair Vengeance 2000 megahertz. We have 2 gigabytes by 2 sticks, so that's 4 gigabytes of RAM. And if there's any other tools we might need for the rest of the building case. First, we'll be putting on the CPU into the motherboard and the heatsink. Take out the package. Be sure not to grab it by the pins. They don't paste you on the plastic. And you match up the golden corner right here, if you can barely see it, with the corner on the motherboard. But you also have to lift up the lever before and place it in. Should just fall into place. Like that, you push the lever back down. Next, you take the heatsink out. First, you put on the one without the wheel. Now that's in place, you just use this, tighten up, and your CPU and heatsink are now installed. Next, we'll add the RAM in the first and third for dual channel support. Don't touch it by the gold area, as like the pins on the other, on the CPU. And the RAM is installed. Next, we will install the flat metal sheet to the hard drive bay with these screws, a little smaller. And without losing the bit.
Now the SSD is firmly attached.
Next, we'll install the motherboard. Grabbing it by the heat sink. Slowly placing it into place. Making sure all the holes match up. All the holes matched up. Seems like something's wrong. Oh, they're all hooked up. And we'll be using these small little screws. That it? Yep.
And the motherboard is now installed.
Next we'll be installing the power supply with the fan facing down. So it goes in just like this. Find my screwdriver. There it is. And the power supply is installed. Next, we'll be rerouting all these cables through this hole right here into the back of the case. We'll route these cables up into the front of the case as we need them. But first, I think we'll just put in the hard drive. We're going to take a SATA power connector. There's a little notch right here. Then we're going to route it to where the power for the hard drive is going to need. Put the main power connector to the motherboard through. SATA cord. Route that through. Next, put in the hard drive, connect the two connectors. The power one is the big one, which will be turned just or opposite this. Should be placed in firmly. And then the SATA connector that connects it to the motherboard goes in like just like that. I think it's in. Yeah. We'll put it on the second bay to keep the airflow nice and good. Right there. Next, we're just going to put in some drywall screws. The hard drive's installed, but we still gotta connect that SATA connector to the motherboard. So lay it back down, grab the SATA cord. Come on, you can do it. Don't want the orange wire with it. Just want it. And you put it on bay 0. Actually, SATA cords don't snap into place. Flip it back up. Well, I actually did a lot since last recording. I accidentally didn't press the start button, but I'm not going to redo it for a third time. So I'll just tell you what I did. I cabled all these over here. That's the HD audio. That's USB 2.0, the card reader. These are all the case connectors for like LED, power switch, hard drive LED. Routed the cable for the fan connector in here. That powers fan connector. Plugged in a CPU fan, which I should have done before installing the motherboard. And the fan connector to the board. Installed the 8-pin CPU power connector back there. The 24-pin motherboard connector, which powers like everything besides the CPU. I connected the 3.0 USB for the front of the case right here. Showed the front fan power connector right here. This, and then the motherboard connector right there. Right here. And this power. And that's it. And I did a lot of wiring on the back. Got it all up in its case except for one wire, which I gotta get that done, so back when I got that fixed.
I originally had narration during the video, but there's so much rumble from the fan from my laptop that I just decided to do narration after the video. And basically all I'm doing is tying up the cables, make sure I can be able to put it on the panel, keep them out of the way of the fan flow or airflow on the fans. And that's about it. See what I'm done.
Power button. And it should come up there. Yep, it booted up. That's it. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.
This is Joseph here. I'm here to tell you. This is Joseph here. I'm here to. Hey, this is Joseph here. I'm here to show you how to build my computer for my grad.